What's up, guys? It's Injection Fully, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Dead by Daylight. It's kind of a funny game. It's a game where you got one killer and you got four survivors, and they battle out or something. I don't know, but something that I've been playing it a decent bit, and something I've been thinking about is do they eat food? Like, Dead by Daylight, they go in and they fix generators and they whack the thing or whatever. But they don't ever really eat food, do they? And I was just thinking to myself, well, what do all these killers eat? Like, what do all these survivors eat? I mean, Dwight Fairfield must eat something, shouldn't he? So I got thinking to myself, and I wonder what each of the killers would be eating, because all the killers have different personalities, they have different gigs and things. So after doing a lot of research and thinking, I've come up with a list about what each of the killers of Dead by Daylight would most like to eat for a good lunch. All right, to get started, let's talk about the Trapper. Now, the Trapper, used to be like a miner, and he adored his father, and they ended up killing him or something like that. Like, the Trapper's kind of a crazy character, so I feel like he needs like a lot to eat, right? Well, I was thinking about it, and there's a local place by me. It's called Beans and Brews, and I feel like there's a lot that the Trapper would like from Beans and Brews. You got like sandwiches, smoothies, you got coffee and something, and I feel like the Trapper would really enjoy getting lunch over at Beans and Brews. You hit me up if you ever want to go there, Trapper. I mean, Beans and Brews is pretty sweet. Then next up we have the Wraith. Now the Wraith, he's just like a quiet car compactor employee, and he just snapped one day, like, wow. Well, I feel like the Wraith would appreciate just sort of slowing down, right? Like, he likes to be invisible, right? So I think he would treat himself to like a cafe. Like, I think he would get coffee somewhere at a cafe, maybe like a cake or something. I don't know, man. Like, I think he'd like something small. Like, might I suggest to him Beans and then we've got the Hillbilly. Now, the Hillbilly, when he grew up, he was fed through a hole in the wall, which is it's ridiculous. I mean, I can imagine growing up like that. Well, I feel like something that would, I guess, be more like home to him is a hot dog, because how and how it's made, like the hot dogs, they like come out of like the wall or something, all the shred, and they just like come out of the hole in the wall. I mean, that's hilarious. I feel like Max Thompson Jr. would get a big kick out of that, and he'd like that for lunch. So the hot dog from How It's Made. I think that's a good one. Next, we have the Nurse. The Nurse would eat at Chipotle. She'd get a burrito from Chipotle. Don't argue about this with me. Next, we have the Shape, Michael Myers. Now, Michael is one of those characters that has a lot of character development, right? There's a lot of Halloween movies, there's a lot of Michael Myers, and it's hard exactly to pinpoint what Myers would really want for lunch. I mean, he's just like Dr. Loomis says, he's pure evil, right? Well, I feel like something that Myers should try that I feel like he'd really like is this small local place by me. It's called Beans and Brews. I feel like there's a lot he could get there. Michael could get like a coffee or a smoothie. He could get something like a bagel. I mean, I don't know, whatever he wants over at Beans and Brews. Next, we've got the Hag. So the Hag, she's got a brutal backstory. I mean, she was starved to death. She was chained up in a cellar somewhere. It's crazy. I mean, she even turns into a cannibal in the actual game. She like straight up eats the survivors. It's crazy. I feel like the Hag would like any kind of food, right? She would just dig into whatever was lying in front of her. So I feel like her ideal lunch is like a piece of bread. Specifically, I think she would like Dave's Killer Bread. It's an organic bread, and I think the one that she would like specifically is the one with 21 different grains and seeds, and has exactly 22 grams of whole grain. That is what the Hag would want. Next, we have the Doctor. So in the Doctor's lore, something specific that I noticed was that he was working on mind control right before he was tainted by the entity. And that got me thinking, I'm like, oh, he's into mind control? So I think what he would want for lunch is the Del Taco $1 barbecue chicken crispy taco, because that is basically mind control. Have you had those things? They're ridiculous. It's like the perfect snack. It's $1, there's barbecue sauce in it, there's just a little taco. That thing is crazy. That's basically mind control, dude. Like, every time I drive past that stupid taco place, I'm like, oh, now I gotta get that $1 crispy barbecue chicken taco. That thing is ridiculous. It's in my head like a parasite. Del Taco has invented modern day mind control already. What is the Doctor doing? He is dead over there. Jeez. And then we've got the Huntress. So the Huntress, I had to think about this one a lot, right? I mean, it doesn't really say anywhere in any of her lore about like, you know, like what specifically she ate. I mean, I know it's like said that she got like bears and things like that. So I thought to myself, you know, I don't think the Huntress would just go and order food somewhere, like make food. I think she would just like show up to a butcher shop and just be like, give me that one. I want it, you know, like no questions asked. You just walk in there and got a huge, real slab of meat. There's some grade A meat. Next up, we have Leatherface. Well, I don't think I need to explain this one. I don't really need to explain this one, but I heard the Texans taste good. Then we have Freddy Krueger. Now, Freddy Krueger, I don't know if this is like his favorite thing, but I think the funniest thing that he could like get for lunch is he just needs to like put like a bunch of olives on his knife fingers. So he just needs to slide like a bunch of olives on there, and he'll just like, you know, like twirl them around, like, you know, twirl around a bunch of olives on his fingers. I mean, that'd be hilarious, dude. I don't know how nutritious, but it'd be hysterical. So how can you go wrong? Then we have Amanda, the pig. So Amanda Young, you know, this one is hard. I mean, like I've seen the Saw movies with her in it, but like I couldn't really decide what exactly her favorite lunch would be. And I was gonna make a joke like, oh well, she's the pig, she wears a pig mask, she likes pork. What if Amanda like can only eat kosher? Like, what if she can't eat pork at all and she can't mix meat and dairy? Like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know, that could be the case. So I think Amanda likes those kosher, you know, pork-free hot dogs that you find in every grocery store and in almost every refrigerator in America. Like, I think that's what she likes best, you know, just in case. I'm not for sure, but just in case she needs a diet like that, you know, those hot dogs are better. Next is the clown. So the clown, he loves fingers, right? He just like, you know, gobbles up fingers. So naturally, chicken fingers, duh. You know, but speaking of chicken fingers, let me tell you about a place called Raising Cane's. When I was in high school, there was a dude I know where every time the topic of chicken was brought up, he would mention Raising Cane's every single time, dude. It was crazy. Like, you could just be talking like a farm animal start bringing up chicken, and this dude would appear out of nowhere, just burst through the door like, have you been to Raising Cane's? Have you been to Raising Cane's? Like me, I've never been to Raising Cane's, but I mean, if you bring it up that much, it must be that good, right? I mean, that must be some serious chicken. So I feel like, you know, if the clown wants some good-ass fingers, he just needs to go to Raising Cane's. I mean, that place, I guess the place is everywhere. I don't know. I guess it's good shit. You know what I'm saying? Raising Cane's. Next up, we got the Spirit. So the Spirit, I was going to say something like, oh, she just goes and get like sushi or something with their friends. But then I'm like, wait, she's a ghost. How does she eat? Like, I don't know. Does she need to eat? Well, I sort of realized maybe if she is a ghost, she can only eat things that are also sort of like only like there visually. So I thought what would be perfect for her is holographic meatloaf, you know? Like, I think holographic meatloaf would be her favorite. Next up, we have the Legion. So the Legion, obviously, there's 4 members of it. You got Frank, Julie, Susie, and Joey. Well, I realized, you know, there's those like places where it's like a KFC and a Wingstop and a Taco Bell and a Pizza Hut and like all those kind of places. And I'm like, well, those are perfect because then like they can get like whatever they want. It's in one building, you know, and I divvied it up. Like Frank would definitely want KFC. I think Julie would want Taco Bell. Joey would probably get Pizza Hut. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. And then Susie, she just eats a whole avocado. I mean, she's an art student. That's all she eats, just straight up avocado. Next up, we have the Plague. Now, I did mention earlier that Julie from the Legion would want to go to Taco Bell. Well, I think the Plague would also want to go to Taco Bell because you know how, you know, the Plague's always got like spitting out vomit. She's got vomit like dripping all down her. Well, I think she would feel right at home at Taco Bell, where there is also a lot of people where there's just garbage dripping out of them. I mean, like, do people actually like Taco Bell? Like, do people like think to themselves, man, I want to go to Taco Bell because like, I don't know, I feel like the Plague from Dead by Daylight goes there and she's just like, oh, perfect. It's just garbage. I can eat garbage. Next up is the Ghostface. Now, for this one, I couldn't really like choose for him. So instead, what I did is I actually contacted the Ghostface himself, and I interviewed him a little bit to learn more about what he likes for lunch or for dinner or whatever. So here's this interview.
All right, is this Mr. Johnson?
Hey,
Good to meet you, Ghostface. I just wanted to ask a few questions regarding your lunches.
okay.
So, what would you say is your ideal lunch?
Dude, Don and Millie's, they've got this crazy beef and rice queso bowl. It is the die for.
That's awesome. How much is it?
You'll never believe this. It is only 99 cents.
No way! 99 cents.
Yes way.
That's insane, dude. Well, thank you for talking to me. I hope you have the rest of your day.
Then we have the Demogorgon. So the Demogorgon, I mean, apparently he eats like a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know what the Demogorgon wouldn't eat, but I think the main thing that Demogorgon eats is noobs. He eats noobs for breakfast, dude. They're like Demogorgon all day. I can pick up this character like any day of the week and then just go to town. Like these jakes are nothing to Demogorgon. I mean, we'll just sit there and just chomp on them all day. Next up, we've got Kazan Yamaoka, the Oni, my personal favorite killer in the game. Now, Kazan Yamaoka obviously is very big. He is a huge killer. You can see him from like any part of the map. So I thought, I mean, he's so big, he probably needs like a lot of food to sustain himself, right? So naturally, his favorite lunch would probably just be like, you know, honey tea, just like a cup of honey tea. I think that'd be perfect for him. Also, maybe some cough drops because of how much that dude yells, and good lord. Next up, we got the Slinger. So the Slinger, I thought about it a lot, and I think something he would really like is beans and beef, because that's all the cowboys eat. That is literally all they eat. I mean, like Shane, like, you know, Shane's out there like shooting people up, and just cowboy shootout, whatever. Like when he comes home, he doesn't expect like, you know, some like super grits or like. He's like, all right, where are my beans and beef? Because that's it. That's all they eat. It's a cowboy's meal. Next, we've got Pyramid Head. So Pyramid Head, I think this one is pretty obvious, right? I mean, everybody knows this. It's pizza. I mean, Silent Hill 2, the entire game is about pizza. And Pyramid Head, you know, his arms look like pizza. His arms are pizza. You know, and I mean, where's a pizza box on his head, for God's sake? I mean, I don't know anyone who would be like, oh, I'm your Pyramid Head. You know, his favorite lunch isn't pizza. No one says that. No one says that nowadays. You know, it's pretty commonly accepted that Pyramid Head, his favorite lunch is definitely pizza. Next, we have the Blight. So the Blight, I mean, he was pretty much forced to eat flowers for years. I mean, they kept him in prison. They just kept shoving flowers in him. I mean, that sounds horrible. I feel like he would want to switch that up a little bit, like change his diet and start eating trees. I mean, he basically does eat trees, like every game you play with him. I mean, he just slams into trees, takes a big old bite out of him. I think he really likes that. So, you know, if he were to pick, he'd just be like, I'll just go eat more trees. Next up, we have the twins. Now, the twins, I feel like they would eat at Chuckarama because, I mean, the twins, they look like people that have been eating at Chuckarama for years. If you don't know what that is, you don't want to. Don't look it up. And lastly, we've got the latest killer, the K-pop star, the Trickster. Now, the Trickster, you know, I don't know too much about K-pop stars, so it's hard for me to say what exactly he would like for like his favorite lunch. But I feel like something he would really like is there's a place by me, and it's called Beans and